eat shit. Hello, and welcome back to I Can't Eat Shit podcast. I'm your host, actress, comedian Shondalia White. And yes, people, I can't eat shit. And yeah, the shit is annoying. Am I a doctor? No, of course not. I'm just a woman when you take her out to eat, she can't eat anything on the menu 90% of the time. So if you're like me and you can't eat shit, this podcast is for you. If you're getting a little bit older and your gut is like, I might not be able to eat shit either, this podcast is for you too. And if you're just interested in me and my health and wellness journey, want to be a little bit nosy, come on in, learn something. This podcast is for you too, so stay tuned. I started I Can't Eat Shit podcast because I was secretly ill for many years, and now I'm healed and I'm ready to talk about it. This episode is about the real chronic inflammation. So let's get into it. Inflammation is something we all deal with at some point. And it's our body's natural response to injury, to pain during a fierce workout, aging. When your knees and your back and your neck hurt, yeah. You waking up and just stuff that's messing up, it's pain, yeah. Inflammation, you get it. So what happens when you're dealing with chronic inflammation? Well, I was dealing with some chronic inflammation for a few years. And of course, like everything else that was going on in my gut, I didn't know. I had no idea it was going on, right? So if left untapped, it could have easily led to cancerous issues. But because I took matters into my own hands, I did heal my gut, as you know, and I didn't have any cancerous issues. Thank you. So my inflammation, I believe that my chronic inflammation came from a number of factors. It was a combination of small and large things, such as my celiac condition, which I talk about in episode 7, so you can go check that out. Lack of sleep, chronic stress, and a number of other factors, because I had a lot of different stuff going on at once when I was dealing with my gut issues. So it was kind of hard to pinpoint just one thing, but chronic inflammation was there. Now, if you aren't necessarily dealing with those things that I mentioned I was experiencing, you may be experiencing IBD, irritable bowel disease. Some forms of irritable bowel disease are Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis. Those are some of the most common, and because I did not deal with them specifically, I will not be going into depth in this episode about it, but I do plan to talk about it in a future episode in season 2. So make sure you stay tuned. But I did have family experience it, and I'll tell you right now, if you are experiencing anything like that, look it up and get it checked out right now. It's something you want to jump on right away. So let's talk about inflammation in general. What's acute inflammation versus chronic inflammation? Well, simply put, acute inflammation is temporary and chronic is chronic. It's that simple. But I'm going to still give you some broken down definitions along with some signs and symptoms that you might be experiencing. So, acute inflammation is your body's natural response to injury, illness, and things that's not supposed to be there. This type of stuff comes on sudden and temporary. And some of those signs include flushed skin, pain, tenderness, swelling, and heat. Now, chronic inflammation is a little bit different because it's your body fighting and attacking itself with inflammatory cells like it's not supposed to be there. Like something's there that's not supposed to be there, but it ain't nothing there. It may not even be anything there. It's just like fighting you, right? And it won't leave. And if this continues, it's basically not protecting you anymore. It is hurting you. This type of stuff can go on for months to years. And some of those signs and symptoms are joint pain, stiffness, abdominal pain, fatigue, insomnia, fever, depression, mood disorders, acid reflux, diarrhea, constipation, diarrhea, again, and frequent infections and more, and lots more. One of the reasons I want to talk about chronic inflammation pertaining to the gut today is because it's something that can lead to disease. And if you are not, your body doesn't have that ability to fight off at the core what is causing that inflammation, it will lead to damage to healthy tissues, cells, and organs. So it's something that can really cause scar tissue, and so much more that will lead to disease. So if you got like me and you got sick of the shits and all the things that were happening to you, I'm going to give you some tips in this next segment. So I got sick of the shits and I'm going to give you a few tips to combat that chronic inflammation. So one of the things I did was adapt an anti-inflammatory diet. Now, I know you hear about this stuff, but this diet will not be the same for everyone. No diet will be the same for everyone. That's why they got 1 trillion diets out there. But I can tell you right now, I can go online, look up an anti-inflammatory diet, and some of that stuff on that list causes inflammation in my body. So everybody's body is different. What I suggest you do is use that as a base and then do some trial and error, and just kind of play around and see what causes you inflammation and what doesn't, and add that stuff that works for you to your diet. The second thing will be get some sleep. Get some sleep. I'm so guilty. I'm on 5 hours right now. Like, get some dang on sleep. I get at least 7 to 8 hours. I try really hard. I'm doing better, but I need to work on it because it does cause illness and inflammatory issues. So it really does hinder your body's ability to fight off things. So get the proper amount of sleep. Then that second thing would be manage that stress. You already know, your girl be under chronic stress. I have been in the process of lowering that stress because I've had pretty much every doctor I've gone to within the last 8 years tell me, if you need someone to tell you, I'm telling you right now, you're literally killing yourself. Yeah. So when that happens to you, you got to pull back and figure out ways to combat that stress, okay? Take down the stress. One of my favorite things to do is the 4-7-8 breathing. 4-7-8 breathing is you breathe in for 4 count, you hold for 7, exhale for 8 count. It really works. I do it for about 16 cycles. Try it out. And the last thing I will say, I believe is the last thing I want to say. Yeah. If you have any underlying conditions and you are ignoring them, you already know what time it is. It's just going to get worse. It's not going to get better. I would highly recommend, if you're dealing with inflammatory issues and whatever you're dealing with is causing inflammation in your gut, your butt hurt after you poop, you know what I mean? It's burning when stuff in your stomach, or it's just chronic pains and stuff like that. Do something about it. Literally do something about it because it won't go away and we want to catch everything early. Good luck. This segment is called There's Another Way to Do That, where I teach you how I modify recipes based on my restrictions. So this month I made baked zucchini bites. They turned out so good. I can't wait to share it with you. So this recipe is gluten-free, dairy-free. It's not spicy and giving you acid reflux, but I do use egg. So if you are a vegan, you can use that egg substitute like you usually would, and it'll be gravy. You'll be good to go. Now, mine turned out great, and I know yours will too. So I'm gonna give you a quick little tip about zucchini. Zucchini has a lot of water, which is fantastic. But whenever you're cooking these type of bites, if you're a texture-based eater like I am, you don't want it too mushy in the inside because it'll be nice and crispy on the outside, and then it has a little softness in the inside. So we want to take out all that water, and then we want to do that before we add that egg binder. So you'll see in a full cooking episode what I actually do, and you'll be good to go. The link is in the description below, and I'll throw one up above. Check it out, try it out, let me know how you like it. I know you'll love it. The last thing I'll say, just to wrap it up here, is if you are someone that's struggling with chronic inflammation, or you aren't sure if you're struggling with chronic inflammation, I hope this episode just inspires you to address it and do something about it in some way. If that's going to the doctor, doing some self-testing, if it's just kind of adjusting your diet, getting more sleep, whatever that may be, I hope it inspires you to just take some sort of action. I sat on my issues for a long time, as you know, if you've been listening to the podcast, and it was primarily because of unawareness and just not taking things seriously. So we all know early detection is the key. Take care of your body so it can take care of you, or you're going to be dealing with a lot of shit. This has been I Can't Eat Shit Podcast. Thank you so much for watching and listening. I really appreciate you all. If you like what you saw and or heard today, go ahead and like, share, subscribe. I Can't Eat Shit Podcast on YouTube and wherever you stream your podcasts. If you are watching me, you can check me out on YouTube and I'll give you some bonus material, there's another way to do that, which is my cooking segment where I teach you how to modify recipes based on my restrictions. You can even modify from there, but there's some great recipes, so check them out. And also, if you have any questions or you want me to do a video about something, go ahead and leave me a comment. Let me know, and I'll do my best to either do a video or just address it in the comment section. And also, you can check out I Can't Eat Shit Podcast on Instagram or check me out at Shondalia White. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time. I Can't Eat Shit! I Can't Eat Shit Podcast is not a replacement for a medical professional. If you need help, seek out a trained medical professional, nutritionist, or therapist to help you with your specific needs.